just kidding.
Hello everyone! We're finally back with Australia's leading anime fighting game podcast. It is your old friend Pichy here, back to talk about something that isn't movies for a couple of weeks. And I'll be having tonight on Fire Rider and Nurk. Now, they are both sitting on Discord, ready and raring to go, so we'll see what chaos happens when I click these few buttons. There we are. Hello Fiery, hello Nurk, are you there?
Oh god, it's so hot! Oh god!
Yes, the joys of summertime podcasting. It's actually been quite nice today, and it's going to be raining tomorrow.
For you?
Yes, for me.
Oh my god.
Move to Adelaide, everyone. To Adelaide. Much more pleasant weather. How are you all, actually? It's been a while.
Oh god, it's so hot. Other than that, I've been great. Trying to get my shit together, as usual, but yeah, just suffering in the heat.
Such as
Can't
life.
do anything. Don't feel like doing anything, it's too hot. Hate summer.
Has there been anything happening in Sydney? Because Melbourne's had quite a few tournaments to cap off the year.
Yes, okay, so I guess a lot of people know that Sydney, our last YSB would be in October due to November and December being completely booked out.
Uh-huh.
So that's a shame. And January, since we normally have our events at the end of the month, and because of Evo Japan and everyone flying overseas, we won't be having a YSB.
Yep.
So this is the Sydney scene as a whole has been in limbo, but fortunately, I've just been hosting meets at my house just for the anime guys. So it's been pretty good. Everyone usually turns up. Except
Excellent.
we're reconsidering it because it's been hot and one air conditioner is not good enough for everyone.
That's better than it was in the arena days for most of the SA history. Though there have actually been a couple of tournaments in SA lately. There's a little basically a little board game cafe that's open on Gudger Street, which is where the Chinatown area is, called Pop Games. And they've started doing weekly fighting game tournaments on Wednesdays. Last week was Guilty Gear, and unfortunately something came up and I wasn't able to make it. But it ran. They're doing Blaze Blue this week, so look them up on Facebook and check it out. Seeming a bit quiet there, Nurk. You got something to say? Or have you disappeared?
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be playing Blaze Blue. I recently picked up Blaze Blue again. Playing Huckerman now.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd like to play more Arcana Heart, to be honest.
Good man.
But yeah, I was unable to make last week due to other things. But yeah, I caught the end of it, and it seemed like a pretty good setup that they have there. And you're right, it is pretty much just a nice little card game, board game place. But they've been talking with our organisers, and they're interested in taking it a little bit further, so see how it goes.
Okay, I am not satisfied with the way you said Arcana Heart, okay? It's Arcana Heart free, Love Max,
goodness.
6 stars!
6 stars! Is I think the correct pronunciation, for there are 6 exclamation marks. That's right, 6, not 5, not 7, 6 exclamation marks.
Yeah, I mean, they all have like stars as the bullets on top of the eyes as well. I mean, it's crazy.
It's very important to remember because the previous version was simply Arcana Heart 3 Love Max, and that one only had 5 exclamation marks. So you know it's that much more exciting. A bit of extra bang, as it were. But first...
Where's my shark girl?
Coming. I'll get to that when we talk about Arcana Heart. First thing is
Alrighty.
I'm just gonna run through a couple of news things. So, Dragon Ball Fighter Z is still coming out on January 26th.
Yeah.
If you pre-order the game before January 13th, then from the 14th through the 16th, there will be an open beta that you can participate in. So if you want to sink your teeth into the game a little bit, start having some strategies to think about for those Day 1 tournaments, there's your opportunity. It looks like we've got the final Day 1 roster set up. The way the character select layout looks, there's some conspicuous gaps, and knowing the way Arc System Works games have been ever since about BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma, probably the gaps that are missing at the moment are Android 21 as a story mode unlock character, your Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta as your pre-order characters,
More Android.
and 8 Season Pass characters. So we'll find out what those are when you buy the Season Pass and they're steadily revealed.
And nobody wants more androids except Steven.
You want
Nobody
Android
wants
8.
to appeal to Steven.
You want 8. You know, the
No more
Frankenstein
androids.
guy.
More freaky aliens. And where are those Super Saiyan chicks from the other universe?
Oh,
Get
you want
those
Kale?
characters in. I heard they're really popular. Get the fused version of that Karo in.
Yeah, get Kale. Kale's pretty cool. Or...
Can I have Super Saiyan 4, please? Guys?
No!
Dennis, that's 2 strikes, alright?
Look, if you're
Continue,
getting...
Pichy.
If you're getting Super Saiyan 4, then I'm damn well getting Pan.
Okay, that's 1 strike, Pidgey.
Hey, I'm the one running the
No,
show
for
here.
real though. I hope that Goku has the Ultra Instinct. I'll choose Goku if he has the Ultra Instinct.
I would not
That's
be
like one of my
surprised if
favourite
there's at
things
least
now.
one Ultra Instinct Goku. Possibly on the blue one. Possibly on another one that gets added later. You can never have enough Gokus.
4 Gokus.
Except for the one that's called Goku Ganagi.
Such a waste of space though.
So...
I'd rather have like...
Yep.
Alright, go on.
Yeah, so that's basically all I want to say about Dragon Ball FighterZ at this point. PlayStation 4 will probably be the tournament standard, and as it always is with anime fighting games, the PC will probably be the net play standard. So if you just buy copies of a game to play by yourself and to net play with, PC version's probably going to have the most active player base. If you're someone who likes to lag setups to local meets, then go with the PS4. If you're some weirdo who's got an Xbox One, you should probably play some Killer Instinct with me. Other random notes. There was actually some somewhat breaking news which happened about an hour before I started the show today. And do you know what that is, guys?
No idea.
Catherine on PlayStation 4 and Vita. It's back, baby.
Hooray? Well,
You see, Perth guys are starting to wake up and organize things again. We've got another release of Catherine. I mean, Catherine's a pretty cool game if you happen to have a local few players who want to play the game. Go grind it out for a bit. It's certainly an entertaining multiplayer game.
So instead of no one playing it, no one can play it more diversely.
Precisely. Because no one owns a Vita. But the thing that I'm actually really happy for about this is the hope and the potential that they'll finally damn well fix the marathon mode bug. Because if you didn't know, in the English releases of the game, there is a bug which renders the marathon mode unfinishable.
Alright.
Which is why,
Continue.
if you've ever seen speedruns of the game in the English-speaking community, they tend to actually prioritize playing co-op mode, either with a partner or using both controllers by yourself, because if you use the co-op version of the marathon mode, you can finish it, like as intended. But if you've just got one controller, it just continually spawns an unsolvable puzzle at the end. Yeah, good job,
Oh my
Atlas.
God.
Yeah, that sounds about like a Sega kind of glitch on release. Just an inescapable point in the game.
Oh yeah, you need to watch out for I've completely
Like a
forgotten.
Sonic
what
3
the
ice
is.
trap.
Yeah, I'm trying
Hey,
to
I've
set
already
up
fell into the...
Watch out for Eggman's devilish traps that may render the game unplayable.
I'm in the inescapable PSO2 vortex right now. I can't block this.
Man, that is very unblockable, man. Like, you need to blitz shield the Phantasy Star. And the way that you blitz shield it is you push S plus H and then you buy Final Fantasy 14. And you play with Giggles, so he can beat you up there.
Oh.
Man, speaking of
Okay.
Sega, there is, if you're a weirdo like me, who likes to play weirdo hipster games, a certain magical Virtual On, Sega's Virtual On sequel that is also a Magical Girl Index tie-in. There is a demo of it up on the PlayStation on the Japanese PSN store. So if you want to see how that game feels, and get a feel for how Virtual On designed for a gamepad rather than 2 sticks works, it's good for getting a feel. Like, every playable character is available in it, and although it's just a single-player demo, you can get a bit of a feel for the game. I think it's a game that the robot community might actually want to look into over this year. So give it a whirl and see how you feel. And finally, Rising Thunder is back. I thought we were finally free of this game, but no.
It is. Serlin, he's back.
This isn't Serlin. This was the Cannons.
No, that was the other guy.
This
That
was the Cannons and Seth Killian.
Seth Killian's back.
I played a lot of Rising Thunder at the time. I was at around rank 40 worldwide when the game died. And I don't particularly like it. I liked it more than Street Fighter 4. And I was kind of driven, partly because it had that Hearthstone ranking system, which is quite addictive to see yourself going up. And partly I just wanted to prove that I could actually do competently in a Street Fighter 4 style
Yeah,
game.
you were really good at that game, weren't you?
Yep.
Like, I saw some of your footage, and you managed to like rank up to like the top ranks of the internet at the time, and then you just like master.
I'm done. So there's a couple of things that annoy me about the game, but its heart was absolutely in the right place. And so what they're doing is they're just releasing a final build of the game, which balance-wise will be pretty much the same as how it was when they pulled the servers. They're releasing the code and an open-source program for operating the servers, so if you want to get your network matches on that way, then you can do that. They're enabling local multiplayer finally, but player 1 has to be keyboard and player 2 has to be a pad input. So get out your sticks, get out your X-Padder, get out your Joy-to-Key, or your X360 CE, whichever you prefer, and that's how you're going to get local multiplayer. I'm glad they're doing this just to give that final bit of closure to the game, so if people want to play a game, I mean, there's too many fighting games already, but the game can still find its niche. People still like Street Fighter 4. This is actually a really good game if you want people to understand Street Fighter style movement. This is a good game.
Hey, speaking
to
of
learn the game
closure,
with.
can we talk about the DOA death? Is that on your list?
Oh yeah, so Dead or Alive 5 last round actually just flat out got killed by the developer. They made this.
Yeah, we
nice
found
little
out it's
video.
finally dead.
Yeah, they made this nice little video of here's the people who made the game, and here's the company logo, and here's your memories of the game, and we're not working on Dead or Alive at the moment. Bye.
Yep.
Have fun.
Yeah, I mean, there was a nice little tweet that I saw where someone said, I wonder how the community will react to seeing an actual dead game. And it's true, this is the first time a game's just flat out, alright, game's dead, developers said so. What are you going to do now? Are we going to keep playing it?
Well, what you
Are they
do
gonna
is you
switch
say,
over?
well, hey, there's nothing to switch to because there's no Virtua Fighter 6, and there's no new Dead or Alive, so for that style of,
Tekken! Switch to Tekken!
You certainly can, but Tekken is a very different branch of 3D Fighter to VF and DOA. Like, those two are way more similar than Tekken is to either of them. And I quite like DOA 5. It's, in general, with 3D games, I just feel that there's other things I could be playing that I'm already more comfortable with, and that's what always is the biggest barrier to me with 3D games. But hey, you're now at the point where you know this is what the meta is going to be. So you can spend some years just actually finalizing, exploring, and maxing out the potential of a game. And eventually, I mean, all games do eventually die out and just have this small little group of weirdos that will play the game forever. And that's fine, that's a fine part of all games. So at least you've got a definite point where you're not just left in limbo and wondering what you should do. Like, the BlazBlue community was feeling like 2017. The Japanese BlazBlue community, that is. Was feeling like 2017 would be the last year for the game. And so they showed up in full force to all the major events just to make sure they could give the game a proper send-off. And they were kind of proven right, because BlazBlue will be very different when it's a cross-tag battle.
Was that the Galileo year, or was this after that?
No, I'm saying
This year.
This year we've just
Oh,
had.
this year.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
when
yeah,
you had
it
like
does.
all the top BlazBlue players travel to EVA. You had like Fenrich and Ryusei and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And Carl won.
What a way to cap off Blaze Blue. Poetry. It began with Carl, and it ends with Carl. So, I've got two games I'd like to talk about a bit more in detail tonight. Those being Arcana Heart, A Love Max 6 stars, and Fighting EX Layer. Which would you guys like to talk about first?
Dennis, go ahead.
Oh man, Fighting Layer EX or Fighting EX Layer. I really want to call it Fighting Layer EX just because the abbreviation is an actual word, and I just want to flex it up.
Yes, well, flex is something which is trademarked by other people, which is why they didn't opt for that as the title. So we've got Fexel instead. And everyone would just call it the flex game anyway. You can certainly flex in this game at this point, because there's some mechanics in this game which allow for infinite combos everywhere. Some of these are reasonably effort. Some of them are really freaking hard. I have bad hands that can't do combos anyway, so I drop them all the time. But it certainly fits with Arika's intent as developers. They like to just throw some stuff out there and see what nonsense people make up with it. If you've seen the Tetris games they made, or the Dodonpachi variant they made, this Fighting EX Layer at this point is totally in line with everything else this company's made.
Yeah, that's the right way to approach the game. I mean, and you're right with flexing on people. I've seen Darren miss the gameplay. Boy, does that guy flex on people.
Oh boy.
In fact, I saw it firsthand. I witnessed it. And yeah,
Darren has 2 bars. He makes you block the invincible hit super, and then cancels it halfway through into the 720 at the one gap there is. And when he's conditioned you with this, you either get hit by the lariat, or if he's really feeling himself, and once he's established this is the mix-up, he then does the anti-air attack super instead.
So that beats DPs?
Yeah, it's invincible.
Is it the Indra Bridge?
Yeah, it sure is the Indian Bridge.
But yeah, it's like that Killer Instinct character as well, who did the same thing. What was that character's name?
Which one are you thinking of now? I mean,
the guy who locked you down with a reversal throw, command throw, that if whiffed, he also went into a anti-air command throw. And it was inescapable.
When was that?
Tomahawk character.
I don't recall any specific lockdowns like that. I do remember there was a period where just the Glacier's grab was actually an unblockable projectile, and so you just had guaranteed unblocks with that. Oh man, where was the anti-air grab option select one? Probably somewhere in Season 2. Probably that one time Mira got nerfed.
Regardless, this does kind of feel like Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter 4 all sort of melded into one game.
Yep.
The input buffering system is unlike anything I've played in a little while. It's almost like there's a really short input window for cancelling into specials, but then the super window buffers for a very long time. So what will often happen is you'll miss the cancel window, and then you'll get the super app and not the special. And little things like that happen a lot in this game. It's actually kind of a lot more execution heavy than you'd think by looking at it.
Yeah, the big thing is the special cancel window is very tiny, though every normal is super cancelable, which is why they can come out more easily. The game plan when you're trying to hit confirm things, and I'll talk about the dashing in a bit and how important that is. But one thing that you really need to consider is the cancel window to normals when just chaining normals along is just lights through to mediums through to heavies or lights to heavies. The thing is, the damage that you do from just hit confirming into sweep is as far as meterless combos go, it's pretty much as good as any other hit confirm you're going to get. So, hit confirming into sweep is actually at this point a very viable thing, unless you're doing goofy infinites.
Yeah, I mean, for starters.
Sweep is bonkers. You do so much damage off each normal. The game is great.
Yeah, I mean, also on that, that's pretty good for starters. Also, there's a rhythm that you can sort of get into once you start playing more. It's you just always chain into medium punch. crouching medium punch, and then most characters, from what I've seen, can link off of that into whatever. That's ages to hit confirm.
So that's as a little comment on the Street Fighter EX games of the past. One of the big problems they all had is that the buttons were very homogeneous for the most part, and EX Layer has maintained that, which does mean that learning the basics of every character is pretty much exactly the same. In this game, it's dashing, crouching, light kick into crouching, medium punch, as you said. That will leave you plus, and from there you can link into normals for pressure, do a walk back and forth and try to throw them, whatever you want. That's the way that you get in. So,
yeah, that's the thing. It leaves you plus as well, which is why it's so good to just autopilot into, because that's where your knockdown pretty much starts there.
Yep.
So it's good.
It's
really, it's a lot easier when you have that in mind.
Yes. A big thing, so if you haven't played the game yet, or you're pushing crouching light, crouching medium, crouching heavy, and don't know why it's whiffing, let's talk about dashes. So the previous Street Fighter EX games didn't have dashes. They were all about just your old-fashioned footsie walking. And the walk speed's pretty much the same in this game, which is a really nice walk speed, and is very good when you're dealing with fireball characters, because the fireballs are pretty nice. The thing is, in this game, you've got dashing. And if you start to dash, then hit down back, then you'll halt your momentum if you block something. But if you just tap dash
instantly, is that instant?
Yes, it's instant.
You can just do it from
unless you're starting to turn invisible with the invisible gem. Then there's a bit.
So it's like Under Night, where you can approach zoning like that. You just run, block, run, stop, block for a very long time.
But the thing is, if you're pushing a button or just leaving the stick in neutral, after you tap the dash and you've stopped dashing, you slide like you're Super Smash Bros. Melee Luigi doing a wave dash for the first time. You slide so freaking far along the ground, which is how basically all your momentum works in this game. Because if you're dashing then pushing a button, you're sliding along the ground, pushing you further towards the opponent than if they just blocked a stationary button. So this is how crouching...
it's like Jackie Chan momentum.
Oh, it's even wackier than Jackie Chan's, just because the inertia
Wacker than Jack?
Oh, yeah. In its own way, wacker than Jack. Jackie Chan's got its own madness. Though, incidentally, I believe Rom Scout is quite a fan of both games. But,
how many games can we compare this to? Jackie Chan? I can see a little bit of Death Cargo in there as well, with how the zoning works. So I actually, on walk speed, I actually felt that the walk speed was very slow, and that the way to approach was really in steps, which made the zoning game kind of feel weird, because people wouldn't sit in one place and play footsies. They'd either dash straight in, or like hold still.
There is at this point a lot of dashing straight in.
Like, I feel the walk speed of that game is so fast. It's really fast, and I really like it.
You were playing without any movement speed gems from memory. And
I was just playing a very silly non-walking style anyway, so that might have done it. I had a lot of backdash stuff. The backdash felt very slow.
Oh yeah, well, when
you were playing, a lot of the startup of the specials felt very slow.
You were playing Scullo, so since I play Shirase for the most part, her walk speed's really freaking good. And her backdash is really nice and crisp as well. So
I saw someone playing that character as well. Seemed really, really quick and simple. So yeah.
There's some interest. The gems are pretty whack. I mean, the first thing that pretty much anyone who plays the game enough will think is the super armor gem is broken at this point. It is so stupid. The only things that beat when you're in armor mode, the only things that beat it are sweeps, throws, DPs, and supers. Nothing else works. Which means there's so many situations where you're trying to just get in or open someone up or disrespect something, but you can't disrespect fast enough because you need the sweep to come out, but their move comes out before the sweep does and you die anyway. Now...
Yeah, it changes the game entirely, because then you have to start using heavies in neutral and stuff that knocks down, and all that stuff is negative on block.
Well,
and I don't know if you can special... Can you special cancel like down heavy punches and like sweeps and stuff?
There are a couple of characters who can special cancel their Lophius. Skullomania and Kyrie are the main ones, but...
If you gotta do stuff that knocks down, and a lot of that stuff is unsafe, then you gotta base your entire neutral around that.
But as I said,
you get a lot of people
every normal is super cancelable, which includes your sweep. So you do have to do things like sweep into super. But the thing is, your sweeps are unsafe
just jabs.
Yeah. So It's a bad time, and the infinite meter gem was actually true infinite meter in previous builds when they were running around with the game, grabbing random players to test it. So clearly things are very not final at this point. And I think there's a very good chance that the Super Armor Gem will be quite different by the time the game actually comes out.
How does the infinite meter gem work now? I actually haven't had a chance to use it or even see it.
So your bars are full, and each time you spend a bar, it just grays out that bar until you've burnt out all three, and then they just refill. So it's a bit like Arcana Heart meter.
Okay, so we're not going back to Street Fighter EX trial mode, keep him in the air for 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's no keep him in the air for 10 seconds or Kairi chipping you to death from round start by doing Tatsu, air fireball super, dive kick super, air fireball super, dive kick super, over and over and over again. Because you could do that in one build. I am a big fan of the invisibility gem. The invisibility skill in general as well is really fun. And I was going to bring up...
Hang on. Can I ask something about the invisibility gem?
Yes.
So, the invisibility starts up when you activate it, right? When does it wear off? Do you hit a button, and then as soon as something connects, does it wear off?
After a few frames of dashing, you turn invisible. For all your movement, you're invisible for about 90 frames, I think. Like, it's a pretty long time, but as soon as you push a button, you stop being invisible. So it's
what if you just stand still?
If you stand still, you stay invisible until the 90 frames or so have happened.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's
pretty
fun.
cheap.
If you want real cheap, there's some setups I need to dig up with Kairi. Kairi has a forward medium kick command normal, which is the big knee that puts him up in the air. And you can do some really grimy mix-ups after sweeping someone with Kairi turning invisible and having ambiguous cross-up knee on their wake-up. It is so grimy.
It's like invisible Ibuki.
Yes.
Or if just 12 was good.
Yes. If 12 or Reptile were actually built around the invisibility. The other thing that's cool is the way that you activate a lot of gems is very specific circumstances. So, for example, the Super Armor Gem requires you to be knocked down 10 times. So if you build a game around just resetting them while standing, then you can slow down the advance of it. The get extra damage gem is
just
by doing big damage. But what's particularly
cool... There's 2 combos that don't knock down.
A particularly interesting one to me is the activation for the Guard Crash Gem. So in EX1, if you push both mediums, you would get an unblockable move that started a combo. Whereas in EX2 and EX3, it was a universal overhead like Third Strike. So to begin with, everyone has that, and it's super cancelable. But if you have the Guard Crush Gem, if you land this move, the overhead on them 4 times in a match, then it becomes the unblockable from EX1. What's cool is that this includes using it in combos. So for example, when I'm playing as Shirase, I do the launch super, and then rather than the more optimized damage juggle, I do the universal overhead and go into the super. So I'm tacking on free build-up for the meter gem, for the Guard Crush Gem rather, through my combos, and I like that sort of thing, and I'd like to see if they come up with more goofy gem ideas. I'd like to see more which you build around sacrifice, adjusting your gameplay in a certain way to actually acquire the gems like that.
Yeah, I don't know, like, initially, when they announced all the gems, everyone was just so hesitant about it. I was really skeptical about it as well. I just was just like, this seems way too whack for just a fighting game, just in general. Like, these effects are crazy. And you see them in the preview builds, and they're just like, this is fucked up. But when you actually get to play it, it all makes sense. It all just feels actually really right, apart from
the armor's the biggest offender at this point. Just because there's I'm
having a lot of enjoyment getting the one that just unlocks everything for you.
Yeah, like that is such a great that's almost the one that you sell people the game on at this point, because it's just you build up meter and you hold on to it for about 10, 15, 20 seconds, and then suddenly
I think it's like 40 seconds actually.
Oh yeah. It's a while. Like
you just hold on forever.
You hold
and
on
get the
for a
miracle
round.
bonuses,
and then suddenly you've got the unblockable move. You've got a burst. You've got the super armor, and what's the other one it gives? Oh, guard cancel. So that's just, especially when you're Darun, it's just, oh, you made me block, you're getting pile driven. Oh, I've got meter, time for the super into the 720 or anti-M 50-50. Oh, you tried to punish anything I do, you're getting pile driven again. Darun is such a jerk at this point, goddamn.
I wonder if he'll remain a jerk, or if that's just a game.
Well, grapplers have been jerks throughout most of the EX games.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. Grapplers haven't had like these.
No. Did you remember Street Fighter EX1 Zangief?
Yeah, that's a beautiful character, that. No whiff on pile drivers.
Like, because the thing is, you can now from what I'm hearing, the grappler can force his 50-50 game on you from absolutely anywhere and anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
And his 50-50 game is not even like 50-50 anymore, because chances are they're recovering from another move.
He's going to.
So he just wins. So you can only keep him out, but you can't because of armor.
And the most humiliating thing about it all is that it's 2017, and we're in this land of elaborate animations. But what's Darun's anti-air throw animation still? Puts his hands up in the air, suddenly you're flung across the screen, and you've lost like a quarter of your life. Or a third of your life, even. Boop.
Good character.
Oh, Darun's a great guy.
Oh, I just wish they had the budget to animate the god.
Oh, which move now?
The god, the gamble of Darun.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's all about that Indian bridge.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know Street Fighter EX2, where he had his level 3 super.
Anything about
Yeah, no, I
he
really
was-
played
Go
the
on,
EX
go
games.
about your business. Go ahead.
Okay, EX2, Darun had a level 3 720. I think it was actually a 1080.
It's a 1080 because
Yeah.
the 720 is the Rey Mysterio powerbomb, which he still has.
And if he ever grabs you, you have to start guessing punch or kick. And you have to do it 5 times in a row. Every time you guess wrong, you're taking more and more damage. And if you guess wrong on the 5th one, he does about 2 times your life bar's worth of damage.
Hey, at least there is a guess there. I mean, it's not like that. It's just inescapable.
And
that's just
sorry,
Doctor-
Another grappler in
Yeah.
another old school
Yeah,
game.
that's just Doctrine Dark Hockey. That's the you just guess and you die. Oh man, I'm not like if you're concerned about it feeling a bit homogenous with the characters there are now. When frickin' Doctrine Dark is in there, then things will be feeling a bit different. Or even Blair, because they've already shown that they've got the models complete for Blair and Doctrine Dark. And Blair is another character with a sliding sweep, so she has some somewhat different buttons. Her Universal Overhead / Guard Crush move looks like one of her special moves in the old game. So if it's still that animation, that's going to be a real jerk move to just work into your mix-ups.
Oh, speaking of characters I want to see. So many characters. I think everyone wants to see Volcano Rosso. Just because he's interesting, he does that 5-volt hockey, you just hold that left-right mix-up.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know who I want to see. Pull him. I want to see Pull him.
You gotta have a Dalsim. I mean, I'd like to see a Dalsim. Not enough dive kicks. There's only one dive kicker so far.
I'd like to see Anubis. He needs to be in more games. You only ever got one chance.
Ay. So Arcana Heart.
My turn to what? Do you know what I'm talking about, Dennis?
Oh my god, it's that mummy guy, isn't it?
Oh, mummy guy. You are correct.
The one that just fucked you up in Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
One from Breaker's Revenge. No,
What?
no, that's an
Albion the
Acarus.
Third.
Oh.
That's not Anubis.
That's
Oh.
an Acarus.
No, an Acarus is...
Yeah,
No, okay.
Allison, sorry. I'm missing.
I need to knowledge up.
Yeah, that's
Moving
Albion the Third. Mr. Poison! Yeah, that guy's terrible. If you play in Breakers, don't play Alzion. So, Arcana Heart. Oh man, I forgot to put my Rising Thunder gif up. Hang on, I'll fix that up. Where's the Okay, here's the Rising Thunder gif. There you are. Let us think back on the fond memories of the Vlad Talos matchup. The finest footsies known to man. Alright, if you're not looking at the stream, it's the Bart and Lisa swinging their arms and kicking air gif. So, Arcana Heart. This is why I got Nurk on, because Nurk and I played a lot of vanilla Arcana Heart 3 back in the day. And a bit of Love Max.
Mm-hmm.
Giggles was in the scene more regularly when Love Max was out, and so we played a bunch there. Giggles had a Kamui and a something. Forgot.
Yeah,
he
had
moved
a
away from
Petra
Petra and
at
just
first.
switched to Kamui.
That point. And then I think he tried Weiss. But
Everyone loves
yeah,
Weiss.
I mean, I barely played Love Max. I played more Arcana Heart 3, the first one.
You played more 8
That's,
hits for Echo Jumpy.
I guess.
God.
Oh,
But
scumbag.
no, I
button,
did
man.
like.
I
I did
actually,
always like this game, and I did always enjoy playing it. So
I actually think playing Arcana Heart 3 online was my first interaction with Nurk.
really, I remember like I played it online twice in my life. Once with like ISO, and then like a couple of other people. You probably were one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
I don't
yeah.
have fond memories. No fond memories.
Yeah, we should play later on, man. I just got it today.
Yep.
So I'm playing a new character.
So, as a quick summary, the game is out on PC. This is parity with the arcade version of 6 Stars, finally. Unfortunately, running tournaments with PCs is always a jerk, but we're just going to have to deal for at least the next year. Their crowdfunding for this was because Examu's trying to move away from having to work with other publishers and do things themselves. So, the funding was for that, to make sure that they could get the porting right, and as well as some additional characters and balance changes. Now, those will be worked on throughout 2018. There's no concrete date. I would assume that they would be out by this time next year. But they'll be out when they're done. They'll be holding some beta testing to make sure that it's all good. The balance of Arcana Heart 3 is an interesting one because they pretty much got things very close to right with Love Max. There was some very serious character and some really serious system issues in vanilla Arcana Heart 3. So Love Max was addressing those, then this and 6 Stars were mostly about just fiddling, not trying to rock the boat too much. It's actually quite rare for new versions of a fighting game to do this, where they went, okay, we've got things generally right, so it's just, what buffs can we give to the weaker characters to get them up there with the good ones? And what are the really oppressive things that need to go? So, they smacked...
I think... Go ahead.
So they smacked Xenia around a bit in 6 Stars. They nerfed all of Claris's good starters. So Claris is still nonsense, but she has to get a lot more hits than she used to.
Yeah, I mean... So I think the balance in this game, speaking of that, is based completely around what options people have in clashes and block cancel scenarios, I guess. Because a lot of characters can just abuse that. That kind of invalidates block strings, that entire thing. And a lot of characters that have invincible attacks or anything that's just really fast, a one-frame move, for instance, can just sort of guard cancel through everything and sort of just get out of pressure if you don't know what you're doing.
That's Examu games in general. Examu as a developer
and the thing about that though is like all this stuff is like safe because of the nature of the game. Anything you block is pretty much guaranteed to be safe on block, because if they have a bar anyway, and they almost always have a bar. So you gotta... I think playing neutral in this game is almost completely about making stuff whiff.
Yes, absolutely. So something that is very much core to almost every game Examu makes as a developer is they understand people hate blocking, and people don't like to do block, and they do like to hit buttons. So they tend to design games where there's a lot of defensive systems that are built around encouraging you to not block and hit buttons. In general, and particularly in this game and Nitro Plus Blasters, they're very much games built around blocking the initial mix-up, and then you get a chance to play. So if you block one thing, then you've probably got a disrespect option. In Arcana Heart 3, you can guard cancel with Extend Force, which is like your traditional Street Fighter Alpha counter. You can forward guard cancel and try to play the Clash game, or you can backwards guard cancel and basically try to Street Fighter 4 backdash and punish whatever the opponent's doing if they've overextended. So pressuring people is basically find a button that is jump cancelable, or is just plus and fast, and only use that. and then do a lot of jumping and seeing what the opponent does and responding to that.
Yeah, pretty much. And like anything that's like, it'll be rare that you find like what your anti-air is in this game. It can be really hard to find what your anti-air is. But once you no, not always, because it's slow. Like, but once you find something that works as an anti-air, like all the time, you'll know, because even if it's unsafe on block, you just cancel it. So like you have short use. My character has like a hit grab that's just really fast and really invincible, just shoots up.
So you're sticking to Minori now?
Yeah, I like her a lot.
That's a new character?
She's the new character. She's basically Bullet, but good.
She's just really easy, fast rushdown character.
She is.
I mean,
she just gets in and hits buttons.
Easy, and that's relative to this game, because like this game's like execution is easy, but stuff will drop a lot, if you know what I mean.
Decision making and understanding your momentum.
Because of the way
it's because of the
way homing works. Because like when you home, a lot of combos involve homing in on someone after a hit, after a launcher, but you can vary the speed and the angle really a lot, and a lot of combos might not work based on the way you hit them and the way you follow up. So it's a bit weird like that, but in general, like having really fast fingers is really helpful in this game.
If you've somehow never... go first, Fiery.
I look... Okay, you're saying this stuff, but I'm insisting on playing Lise a lot, and...
Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, mate.
No, she's hard, man. She's really hard. She's one of the hardest.
She's the hardest by far.
This is a game where like you have to have really fast hands, really fast input, and it has to be pretty accurate, not too accurate, but like a character like that, and you have to have like good pickups and shit. And
no, not just that. I think Lise a lot. If you don't know how she works, she sets orbs which let her doll do attacks in advance. So you gotta like Yomi your pressure, Yomi your combos, and all of that. And you just gotta like just do crazy hit confirms on the fly off the first hit just to even get your combo.
I imagine that there are ways to like have the doll set up so that if you hit them, it's a free combo, and if not, it's like a safe sort of string, kind of way similar to Carl, I guess. By the way, you and your puppet characters, I swear to God.
Yeah. So if you've never played Arcana Heart before, and you're someone who likes to play your puppet characters like Eddie, Kakyoin, Carl, etc. If you like to play that more patient, push the buttons, do a Nobiru type of Ogawa style Eddie play, I actually recommend...
Use a Shadow Arcana.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, be like Arturo Sanchez, pick Kamui, and pick the Dark Arcana, and you'll get a way more Eddie-oki experience with that than by picking Lieselot, the designated puppet character. Because the Dark Arcana is basically Eddie, and Kamui is very much that patient push buttons character.
Hang on. You can pick Lieselot with the Dark Arcana, which is a canon Arcana, and you have 2 puppets!
Yeah, but then you can't teleport by picking Evil Lieselot. Or pick Ice Lieselot and do the Infinite on Catherine.
Oh. This game is whack. It's great. The Arcana system is great.
The Arcana
I like the movement a lot.
Yeah, the movement's the best part of Arcana Heart. And the fact that you just hit buttons. You disrespect people all the time in this game.
Yeah, but
I like to say that Vampire Savior is a game where you play without fear and play true to your heart. And Arcana Heart is the mid-2000s equivalent of that. You play no fear, true to your heart. Sometimes you're reacting, sometimes you're just preempting and praying, but mostly you're flying around the screen and having a blast. So if you're unfamiliar with the homing system, I'm going to put a link in the chat, which is to a page on the Mizumi wiki for the game. Some character pages on the wiki are really complete. If they're not, I've got a few people that you should ping. You should probably ping... Actually, I'm just going to write it here in the chat. Ping that guy if you want to learn things about Arcana Heart. He speaks English and Japanese, and he's one of the most dedicated community members even. So there's a comic that I just linked to, which will teach you a bunch of the basics of how to move around in Arcana Heart. There's a note on one of the final pages about how to air tech. You don't need to worry about that anymore. From Love Max onwards, air teching works like modern BlazBlue and most modern fighting games. You just hold a button and hold a direction, and you'll air tech in that direction.
Any button.
Any button. Probably not homing. That's a bad idea. So
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I was wondering about that because air teching and teching in this game always seemed to confuse me because a lot of times there'd be like wall bounce combos that were not legit if I was teching correctly, but for some reason I wasn't a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to tech
fixed in
those
this
now. You just hold a direction, and if you want to go straight to the ground, you just hold down in the button. So Arcana, there's one Arcana for each character. You can pick whichever one you want. Think of them like CVS2 grooves, I guess. A bunch of, like, they all modify how much health you have. Those really don't matter, except Wind and Time give you the least health. Earth and Love, from memory, give you the most HP. But the main thing is whatever extra special moves they give you, and if there's any really gimmicky modifiers. For example, the water one means that your charged up E-normals are no longer unblockable, but they have a million years of block stun, so you can set stuff up, and also makes the opponent's frame data a little bit slower.
I think like the best way to describe Arcanas would just be that they're very similar to the stones in Infinite, Marvel's Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, that also works. They give you a move, and they give you some modifiers. There's a few which are very easy bog standard ones to suggest. So, if you really don't know what to do, and you like having fireballs, pick the Love Arcana. You get a beam, which allows you to whiff punish stuff from far away. You get balls, which help you approach. Super balls, which you can use as Oki or a better approach option. There's the Blossom Arcana, which makes you completely immune to counter hits. So when people are trying to work out the scramble situations in the game, they're going to have that much more trouble. You also get the fastest recovering bursts. Now, bursts are honestly not something you want to do a lot of the time in Arcana Heart unless you're really, really desperate. Because they take ages to recover, and Guard Cancel X-Factor activation, or X-Factor activation mid-combo, will recover way quicker, and will usually get you more momentum.
Well, the main thing is that activating max mode is an extra combo route, which if you don't have one bar or like max mode to activate, then you don't really get much other than ABC Super.
Yes.
But having that extra activate, and so it means if you have no bar, you still have a combo route which still does a lot of damage while you recover that meter.
Yep.
And just having that is a lot better than getting out once.
And it also means that if you've overcommitted, then you just get an extra pressure extension. Or, again, you use it as a guard cancel. That's a way to get out of pressure. Those are all more consistently useful and get you in the mindset of not getting hit rather than, okay, I've made a mistake, I'll just burst out like you would in some other games at certain tempos. No, they are a desperation thing. Unless you pick the Blossom Arcana, which has by far the fastest recovering burst, then you can play a burst game more like Guilty Gear, where you do one early in the first round, then another in the middle of the second, another at the end of the third.
Well, I think the key with that is picking your characters in your matchups wisely, because there are some characters where they will get confirms meterlessly, and they can sort of save up meter all game for like a really good level 3 sort of game style.
Yeah.
And that means they can use their bursts early on because they're not using meter. But you kind of have to have the character for that, and it has to be the right matchup.
Yeah.
In general.
Because basically, if you want to just do Guilty Gear bursts, then pick Blossom, otherwise don't burst that often. So Love for neutral learning, Blossom for bursting. For learning how to attack from while you're being pressured, or if you just want a really, really good Oki setup without having to learn character-specific stuff, Lightning. Lightning is really good, to the point where the community thinks it is by far the best Arcana after it's been nerfed twice. Because double quarter circle forward, 236, 236, and the Arcana button, that super just does everything for you. They just have to block this line of lightning. The regular lightning projectile is just this really good bolt of lightning that will strike them anywhere on screen. And if you're in a clash situation, say you're trying to pressure someone and they hit 6D, like lots of clashing happen card cancel, you just do 623, the Dragon Punch motion with that Arcana button, and you beat anything they're doing in the clash for free.
Oh god. That was my first experience of using lightning. It is amazing. It is as amazing as it sounds.
It is pretty much the best Arcana. So, Love for neutral, Blossom for bursting, Lightning for Oki and Disrespect. There's a couple of others that I'll mention. If you're playing Charlocrot or Kamui, then the Plant Arcana is a really good one to start with, because for both of these characters, there's certain angles they cover, and if you can hit confirm those angles into quarter forward E, that really, really hooks you up, and really adds to their neutral game. So that's if you're Charlocrot or Kamui, try out Plant. If you're Kira, pretty much every good Japanese Kira player uses the Metal Arcana, because putting up a shield is really good for allowing her to get in. It means that she can build meter on her own terms. And the Arcana Eclipse, which is while you're in X Factor, you do quarterback and A plus B plus C. That move is really, really good for just staying on top of the opponent. And if you are fighting Catherine, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you tier me. If you are fighting a Catherine, pick the tier Arcana, and do 2 quarter circles back, 214, 214E, and you'll set up a cage match, and Catherine will get hit by the cage, and you'll be able to stop her. Otherwise, she's going to run all over you and do sentinel things.
Oh, gosh. Is Catherine the same as she was in Arcana Heart 3, the original one?
Close. So, in Vanilla Arcana Heart, one of the big things she had was if she knocked you down, she would do 63C and cancel it into down, down, A plus B. And what this would mean is you'd have to block a missile, and then this little robot, this chibi girl, would come out and do an unblockable explosion. The way that they fixed this wasn't to remove the unblockable, but instead, she only has a limited number of chibi goers. The amount that she has determines on the round numbers, so if it's you're for some reason playing single round games, then she only gets 1. If you're playing best of 3, she gets 3. If you're playing best of 5, she gets 5. That's the main change.
Per round.
No, that's for the match.
I wonder which one is optimal for like optimal Catherine performance. How many rounds you should be playing?
I mean, the game has always played best of 3 in tournaments anyway, so... Though the game flow is very different. This is something I was going to mention in EX Slayer and didn't. Is that I really like that game's a best of 5 rounds game, because it means there's a lot more time to build up your gems, your Golgis, and actually play around with their potential. And Arcana Heart's an interesting one, because when you're really loaded up with resources in a best of 5 rounds game, the game plays very differently. There's even scummier things you can do, even less commitment. And so I think that's kind of why the community is stuck with best of 3, so it's a bit more scrappy.
So it is best of 3 now?
Yeah, Arcana Heart's best of 3.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, because like, the way this game's bar builds up, it would be a completely different style if it's best of 5.
Yeah, then you have
that's how you start up with only 1 bar max, and then it builds up.
Yeah, but it builds up, so if you're saving it, then by the time the 3rd round begins, whether you won or lost the rounds, you can be starting every round with full meter all the time.
Yep.
And then just playing like a cheap person, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, unfortunately...
cheap people.
So, the only thing I mentioned, there were a couple of systemic issues in Vanilla Arcana Heart 3. One of them is, there were 2 frames when you were waking up, where you could block things, but you couldn't do any other action. And due to the way that certain moves in the game worked, it meant that basically, if you picked the Halo Arcana, or if you were Elza, the Fire Arcana as well, you had guaranteed unblockables which the opponent could do nothing about. And this was a universal thing. So they removed that from the game. And then they also did some other tweaks to the frame data on the Halo Arcana, so it wouldn't be guaranteed unblockables still. Fun times. Any other notes I have?
Well, I mean, the game certainly seems less cheap then, because like a thing I noticed with my character at least is that I can't really get solid knockdowns where a crazy mix-up is possible off of most enders.
There's
so
a lot more
there are crazy mix-ups if people respect you like crazy, but like oftentimes you won't get the knockdowns necessary for that. And there's like another thing, a weird thing where you can you can block during the startup of super jump frames.
Yes.
Normally you can't block during startup, but of the jump, but you can block during the super jump startup frames, so you can sort of have this weird option select where people just disrespect you like crazy unless you know how to beat it. So yeah, a lot of universal defensive options to get you out of stuff.
Yeah.
ABC Special Super does about the same amount of damage as most other combos, only slightly less.
Yeah,
The
do you
classic
wanna
Conway combo.
Yeah, the legend of BC Super. So the reason that BC Super, for Kamui specifically, is a joke is because in Arcana Heart 1 and 2, your homing meter was separate to your super meter. And so it was basically, this is the optimal way to spend a super meter, is to just go standing B, standing C into super. Now there's a bit of difference because, depending on what you've tagged them with, you might actually want to go for a better combo. She actually gets better Oki off of air combos and the like. But if you're just hitting them at the maximum range of standing B, 5B, 5C super is pretty much the best thing to do with her. And it's cool, because she's a samurai. What else do I have here in my notes? New menu music is bad. Yep, it's pretty bad.
Nah, I like it. I'm gonna be that guy. I like it.
Oh boy. Just as well we're not talking about Star Wars then. I do like the... the new picture of Heart is pretty adorable. Oh, I didn't tell you guys! So, Examu ran a social media competition where they would send out some stickers to someone, and I won it. So at some point I'll be getting a bunch of Arcana Heart stickers, courtesy of Examu.
Oh, cool.
Yay.
Congrats.
Talking about things I need to get from Examu, I actually didn't end up backing the game itself.
Oh, Dennis.
I spent $350 on the backers, and all of it was on the merchandise.
He bought a bunch of Backer Kit merchandise. The real stuff.
I completely forgot about buying the game. So when the game came out, I actually had to go out and buy it.
Yeah, nah, I kind of did as well. I'll admit, I did the same thing. I just bought it today, actually. I probably wouldn't have bought it if I was going to be talking about it.
Wait, you also spent $250 on, like,
No.
life-size War Scrolls?
No, I didn't support it at all. No, my bad. Sorry, Dennis. Sorry for your loss.
Hey, his loss, my gain.
Oh, that's true. The legend of the SXC gift bag was that I was hoping that this would actually arrive before SXC, but I believe it's scheduled to all be sent out around February, so I guess it will make it for TFC.
Yes.
See what that'll bam.
That does remind me, I should link the TFC trailer. So, Tassie FighterCon has a thing. Tassie FighterCon has a new trailer up. That is the next Australian major, and you know that the Tasmanians are cool guys because the music that they used in the trailer... Oh boy, I'm not finding it here on a quick YouTube search. Won't crash my internet hunting through YouTube for it. Anyway, the trailer they made has the music for Shion's theme in Undenied in Birth. So you know they're cool guys. They're using the anime music. Let's dig it up. It might be here.
Don't worry, I got you covered.
Oh, you got it?
I got it.
Didn't you know? Tassie has its own little tourney down here. So yeah, Tassie FighterCon. Street Fighter V is a side game at Tassie FighterCon. So you know that they are cool guys. Whoa, I put the Facebook link up. That's gonna be ugly. So yeah, they're running Unib, they're running Marvel Infinite, they're running Guilty Gear. I think they're running BlazBlue. I don't think they're running Dengeki this year. I think Javi scared them away from that finally.
No, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Well, you know.
I'll make it happen.
Give that game the send-off it deserves. Should we do it? I know we were talking about after OHN doing a anime
So one or
TOs
two
versus...
people.
No, see,
We'll
here's the
send
thing.
off.
The anime TOs of Australia all play Dengeki, so it needs to be anime TOs versus the world in Dengeki.
I mean, look,
Beat
for
the
the
boss.
3 people that might enjoy an event like that, the shame it will bring upon our community, my friend. I don't know. I
It'll
think
be
I'll
worth
be
it.
out.
I won a freaking tournament at SXC. There's absolute shame in this community now.
No way, dude. Not that much shame.
So
we can send off Dengeki and then he'll come back.
It'll return in eternal money match form. The official money match game of the Australian anime community. Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax Ignition. Until all of us have gotten a win on Awakened Being in an event. That's when the game is truly over. When the beast is vanquished at last. Anyone got any other comments on the games tonight? I've run out of notes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing Kanaha 3 tonight, so hit me up for games
Cool, that's Nurk.
before I lose interest.
Wow.
I will actually boot up Arcana Heart 3 for the second time, so I might hop on as well.
Alright, Godspeed. We'll see you all in the lobby. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
We'll talk to you again after a while. I will probably do some more. Whoa.
Oh, yes.
We have a Javi announcement popping up in the chat here. Bam has announced an extra date as well. The exact date. And he's linking to the Twitter one. Let's see what we have here. Let's get this up. Let's put a window capture up. There we are. Whoa. Dang it! I wanted just the date. Javi, can you please post the date in the chat? Because my terrible internet will be killing things. We do have a question here by Sleep Mode AU, Gold Oren, and Nurk. How many Vegetas will you be playing as in DBFC?
As many as the game will allow me to, buddy. That's your answer. I mean, yeah, we've got 2 so far. I mean, we're missing Majin, but I'm sure he'll come out. There's a lot of characters. I doubt Android 21 will come out without a Majin Vegeta. We got Blue, and there are 3 Gokus. If not, I'll play the Ultra Instinct Goku. I mean, that guy's cool.
Nah, man.
Does a fusion
It's all
of Goku and Vegeta count as Vegeta? No fusion? Doesn't count?
There's a Vegito fusion. Is that what you're talking about?
Is there?
Well,
I'm pretty sure there will be.
He's asking, do fusions count as playing Vegeta? Or has he been tainted by the non-Vegeta elements?
He's been tainted by Goku. It's that simian ape, Kakarot, that low-class Saiyan warrior. His precious bloodline? No way. Nah, pure Saiyan pride.
Well, you heard it here.
That's me geeking out.
That's what we're here to do.
Is that it? We're ending it here.
Yeah, that seems like a good spot to end it on now. I had some joke and now I've forgotten it, so we'll just end it there. I'll probably not be doing a movie show for a while until my friend Solid is back from Alice Springs. I've been doing those mostly because it's a way of maintaining regular contact with him. Otherwise, he tends to just disappear for months at a time. So, until then, we might do another fighting game show. There might be a goofy New Year's Eve stream where we play games, though it's very likely that'll be board games. In the meantime, thank you. We'll talk to you again after a while.